Right now at 6, breaking overnight, talks resume between top negotiators between the U.S. and Iran. What we know so far about the progress of those talks. Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Thanks so much for starting off your weekend. Hopefully it was a good one. We're glad you're starting your new day with us at Fox 61 America Areas.
And I am Bridget Bjorla. Great to have you here. Hope all the dads had a great Father's Day yesterday. The weather really showed up in a nice way. Unfortunately, we're switching gears here, right, Rachel? We're tracking some rain coming in.
We are tracking some rain today, but we certainly need the rain. It'll be rather beneficial for us as we have a bit of a deficit across the state in terms of rainfall. So your browns are definitely are browning at this point. So we certainly need some rain here. Rain by the midday period, but it will become heavy at times. You can see back off to the west of us now. It is a soggy start for parts of Indiana as well as Ohio and Pennsylvania. Eventually, we'll get that to move in. Right now, though, it is a nice and sunny start to our morning. It is rather comfortable, too, as temperatures are starting off in the 50s across the state and the wind is calm. So if you have any outdoor plans, it should be best to get them done in the morning. By the midday period, that rain develops. 53 degrees in Torrington, 58 in Waterbury, 62 degrees in Bridgeport, and 56 in Norwich. Taking a look at the precipitation chances by the late morning, early afternoon, we start to see more clouds start to build in, so it becomes rather overcast. And then eventually, by about the midday, noon, 1 o'clock time frame, we're going to start to see some lighter showers develop, and then it becomes steady and heavy through the evening. We are looking at a level 1 risk for a sliver of the western part of our state for any stronger thunderstorms to develop. While we can't rule out those thunderstorms, I think a lot of this will be manageable. We'll have to watch the excessive rainfall, though. Poor drainage flooding is certainly on the table where any of those thunderstorms and even some downpours do set up, though we have been rather dry, so it shouldn't be a widespread issue. 75 degrees on Tuesday, a couple of showers there, and then eventually we build in some warmer and brighter numbers for the middle of this week. We'll talk more about where we go. Your full 7-day coming up. 6:02 right now. On our roadways, we are following this one incident here on the Wilbur Cross, so southbound between 42 and 41. It looks like the best alternative for you to take is going to be 95 this morning on that southbound side to navigate around that closure. A live look outside over at New Haven on 91 to the I-95 interchange. Volume remains light here at this hour. Bridgeport, it looks like we're starting to see some delays building in the Bridgeport area, so that alternative route is going to be a bit of a slowdown as well. Those drive here from New Haven to Bridgeport around 26 minutes. So over to you.
6:02 right now, breaking this morning overseas. Top U.S. and Iranian officials have just begun their second day of talks in Switzerland. We're checking in with Fox 61's Stefan Reels. He's joining us. Where do things stand this morning, Stefan?
Well, Erica, despite a seemingly rocky first day, mediators from Qatar and Pakistan say encouraging progress has been made during day 2. We're told that talks today are mainly technical, though, to help solidify the interim agreement between Iran and the U.S. There are less than 2 months to strike a permanent deal to end the fighting between both sides. Meanwhile, Vice President Vance has been in Switzerland for the negotiations. This is what he had to say coming into these talks.
What today really represents is the beginning of a technical negotiation that's not going to solve every disagreement, but is going to allow us to sit together as teams for the first time really in history to figure out what matters most to the respective parties, to settle those issues, to solve those issues, and get to a better tomorrow.
And while these talks were going on, oil prices rose yesterday to nearly $80 a barrel, and that's mainly after President Donald Trump said the United States could resume bombing Iran and take over the Strait of Hormuz if Iran and the U.S. could not reach a deal. Meantime, mediators say the talks that Iran and the U.S. have agreed to create a deconfliction cell to address the fighting by Israeli forces in Lebanon. And this is something Iran says needs to stop for a deal to stick. Of course, we're going to be staying on top of this throughout the morning, and the latest talks out of Switzerland. We'll give you updates throughout the show. In the studio, Stefan Reels, Fox 61.
All right, Stefan, thanks. We know you'll stay on top of it, and we'll check back throughout the morning for any update on the progress. Well, meantime, here's a look at gas prices all across our state. This morning, AAA says the average price for a gallon of regular now stands at $4.06. That is a penny cheaper than yesterday, and it's 15 cents down from last week. A month ago, the price was $4.64, but this time last year, it was below $4 significantly. It was $3.16. New York City police say a Connecticut man fell to his death from an upper level of Madison Square Garden during a concert Saturday night. Now, this happened just before 10 p.m. Police arrived to find 51-year-old Paul Cooker from Niantic unresponsive with injuries consistent with a fall from a high section inside the arena. He was rushed to the hospital where he was later pronounced dead. Investigators say he was there with his wife. At this point, they do not suspect foul play. The band performing at the time at MSG, Goose, says that they're heartbroken over what happened.
6:05 now, a crash involving a moped left a person seriously hurt in Meriden. Fox 61's Valerie Moravi spoke with witnesses about what they saw.
Well, the scene is now clear, but for hours, this stretch of Pratt Street was completely shut down as the accident investigation unit worked to piece together what happened. Now, neighbors in the area tell me they're still trying to make sense of what happened. One person is in the hospital after Meriden police say he was struck on his moped on the intersection of Pratt and Mill Streets in Meriden Sunday. According to authorities, the man riding the moped suffered traumatic injuries and was taken by Lifestar helicopter to a local hospital for treatment. At this time, his condition is unknown.
But seeing something like this, it hurts.
Witnesses in the area reported hearing the collision. Jennifer Spack, who was nearby at the time, says she suddenly heard a loud popping sound moments before the incident.
A friend of mine and I, we were on the other side of the bridge, and all we heard was bang. All we heard was a loud crash, and then we're like, what the hell? Him and I pop around the corner, all we seen is his bike laying on the ground, he's laying right there, and she's sitting in the car crying.
Spack has lived in the neighborhood for decades. She says the crash raises concerns about safety at the intersection. She says she worries that some drivers and riders do not take enough precautions and fears a similar incident could happen again.
Anytime people want to cross, we have to stop, we have to wait for everybody to just go past us before we can cross the road. It is very dangerous out here.
Officials have not provided additional details about the circumstances surrounding the crash. And as of now, officials say the crash remains under investigation. In Meriden, Valerie Moravi, Fox 61.
6:07, heads up if you're going to be driving through East Hartford later today, expect major delays. Police are warning about heavy traffic in and around Rentschler Field as thousands of people drive in for the Post Malone and Jelly Roll concert. The gates there at Rentschler open at 5:30, but congestion could start hours earlier, and it's going to last well after the show. Officials say roads like Silver Lane, Roberts Lane, and I-84 will all be impacted by this. Drivers are being urged to plan ahead, allow extra time, and watch for a surge in pedestrian traffic around the venue.
A Meriden woman faces charges this morning after police say she tried to drive away from a traffic stop. Yesterday, a Portland police officer has pulled over a black Honda Accord, and during the stop, officers discovered the license plate came back registered to a Toyota Sienna. During the stop, the driver of the Accord drove away but was later caught after police deployed stop sticks. The driver, identified as Valeria Rodriguez Velazquez, was arrested and charged with several crimes, including engaging police in a pursuit, reckless driving, and reckless endangerment.
Yesterday, people all across the country and the state gathered to mourn the loss of Rabbi Philip Lazowski. He became one of Connecticut's most respected spiritual leaders. Mourners gathered to celebrate a life defined by strength, wisdom, and hope. As an advocate and author, Rabbi Lazowski caught national attention, sharing the story of his family's loss and his story of survival during the Holocaust.
He was a tzaddik, a righteous man, a teacher, a rabbi, an author, a bridge builder. He was a modern-day hero.
Our nation is in the night as anti-Semitism is rising. Hate is on the rise. We feel the darkness all around us. But this man was the embodiment of a reminder of light triumphing over darkness.
As yesterday's ceremony came to a close, family urged their guests to follow in their father's kind footsteps and to keep his legacy in their minds.
In World Cup action, in case you missed it over the weekend, the U.S. men's national soccer team defeated Australia. Final score 2-0. The United States will play Turkey on Thursday night. That match is set for 10 p.m. right here on Fox 61. And now a World Cup standings update presented by Nissan. Yesterday was a full day with Spain dominating Saudi Arabia 4-0. Japan defeated Tunisia by the same score, 4-0. Belgium and Iran ended in a scoreless draw, and Uruguay and Cape Verde finished in a 2-2 draw. Meantime, Egypt defeated New Zealand 3-1. While the World Cup continues here on Fox 61, our evening newscasts will be airing on our Fox 61 News app. That means Monday through Thursday this week, you can stream our latest news and weather from 5 to 7:30. Head over to our news app by scanning the QR code you see right there on your screen.